Yeah, I got the motor all hooked up. It's actually bolted in for the first time now. You can see the drive shaft there. Everything's all plumbed up. That's the trim box, which tilts the nozzle up and down on an electric motor, so it's electric trim. Exhaust is hooked up to the exit. Made a little bracket for the oil tank to sit there, and that cap will actually stick above the deck right there, so that cap will be, you know, right at the carpet line. Bilge pump's hooked up, goes out through the rear. That yellow line there's the pisser out the rear. There's another exhaust line over there. That black one in the background goes out the rear. Just getting it all ready for the initial fire. I had to do a lot of rewiring from the regular harness. A lot of people just slap it together and make it work as is, but I wanted to mount the box as high up as I could and out of the way as I could. So it actually, right here is going to be a compartment storage, so that box is sitting behind the wall of the compartment where it'll be, so it's hidden and leaves that full storage spot open. Had to extend almost every sensor for the harness had to be extended by quite a bit. All adhesive shrink tubing was used. I had to extend the starter wire. There's my little jumper I made. It's going to be a 24-volt system for the trolling motor, and then everything for the boat beside the trolling motor will be connected to one battery on a junction. Here you can see here's one of the connections I had to extend from the jet ski, the distributor, where it ran to the battery and the OEM jet ski setup. Just used a piece of copper tubing inside there with adhesive shrink. You can see the glue coming out of the sides of the shrink tube, so it's nice and legit, real heavy shrink. All the mess of wires that will be eventually loomed and hung and tucked away. And here's the reverse. Right there's bucket down, there's bucket up, out of the way. So this is running position, and then flip it for reverse. That came out real nice. The steering, just typical forward, backward, left, right, stick steer with OEM throttle. And then there's the trim, up and down trim nozzle, the start button. So should come out pretty good. It's finally getting there, and we'll be looking for a test run here quite shortly. Here's a look at the extensions I had to do on this is the reverse bucket. Right now I still have to do the extension on the trim. Right here's the trim bar, which will connect here, which tilts the nozzle up and down. These all had to be extended. Right there you can see where I welded it. That's this is the OEM ball joint from the jet ski, and I had to add this length of, it's just a stainless steel bolt. I cut the threads off of it and the hex head off of it and used the shank of it, and then I had to drill and tap it to receive that rod, so it's adjustable here with a lock nut there. Same thing for this one. I did that one, but it ended up being wrong because I didn't have everything wired up to check where it was actually trimmed at, so I have to shorten this one so that it equally trims up and down. Right now it's like the trim movement is all in the downward position, so I have to shorten that rod so it comes up a bit. Had to modify the bucket a little bit. There's a notch cut there. You can't really see what I did on this side of the bucket, Move that out of the way. Actually, I guess you can. There's the OEM bracket, stainless bracket. I had to cut that notch out of the bottom and then elongate the holes and re-rivet it in, so I essentially had to move that up higher for this system to work, because this reverse didn't come on this jet ski, but it bolted right on. Just needed a little bit of modifying. The steering rod actually hooked up fine. That's the OEM. And you can see it's hard to see the stick moving. There's the exhaust and the exit fittings. I got a bag up here for weight. I'm going to actually need another bag to basically just account for the lack of the fuel weight and the trolling motor that'll sit on the left side up here. So I'm figuring, you know, 2 30, 40, 50-pound bags for the test run. Just stuck a little bit of fuel in there. I wanted to show you the tank here. That's the OEM tank I'm using. I made that nesting bracket down there that it sits in. It's just an angle. It's an angle square with a plywood bottom on it. I'm gonna put rubber on top of the plywood under there, so it's housed on top of rubber, which will be a little softer than the wood in case it does move around a little bit. Made these straps as tight as I could. They're the OEM ones, and I had to custom make the brackets for those fixtures. If you can see, it's just basically 1-inch square aluminum tubing sliced down the middle, and then notches are cut in there to accept the OEM bungees. That came out real nice. And that's just welded straight onto the bottom of the boat. 2 ribs and then little stilt feet here welded to the boat. So that's a nice permanent tank setup. Right here I'll probably have some type of little wall separator. That'll be where the anchor ropes and life jackets are stored. And then we'll have 2 side compartments on each side of the fuel tank. Probably long rectangular hatches. They might open toward the outside, I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out. This beam, good thing I only tacked it in temporarily, because I'm starting to figure that I want to make my subfloor a little bit bigger. So I'm going to actually be moving this wall back a little bit, and I'll be moving this wall forward just a bit. And it's going to be a split 1 seat, 2 seat. Right now it was set up for 3 seats, but I decided against that. I'm going to run offset 2 seats, and then we're going to see if we need trim tabs or not.